For those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what's coming next. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. See, we're going to get to the other stuff here in a minute, but what I'm always trying to get everybody to understand is everything is vibration. So before we do anything else, vibe. If you haven't smiled yet today, now would be the perfect time to do so. Right now. And if you're going through a dark place in life, where you feel like there's no hope, please allow me to be your beacon. Allow me to be the smile on your face. I'm about that. Everything is vibration. It's about that time for you to open up your will and let me crawl into your mind. One time. One more time. If ain't nobody told you they love your sorry ass today, I do. Straight up. Straight like that. What it was. Y'all already know who it is, and y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge of Self. And this right here, this ain't nothing but some cosmic insight. And what this also is the deepest dive into the intricacies that are you that we've ever taken. Cause this right here, this a little something about the major aspects between the moon and Pluto in your natal chart. And understand that I said major aspects. That means I'm talking about conjunctions, oppositions, trines, squares, sextiles, and inconjunctions or quincunxes, which is what inconjunctions are also referred to. That means I'm not talking about sesquadrans or semi-sextiles or semi-squares. I'm not here to talk about quintiles or biquintiles. We're not going to discuss YODs or T-squares or grand trines or stellium or kites or Star of David. Not yet. See, first, we got to master the basics, and it's a good thing you got me. So before we dive into the aspect, what we're going to do first is have a quick review of what the moon's all about. We're going to talk about the energy that comes along with it and how it might affect you. Then after that, we're going to talk about Pluto, and we'll discuss the energy that comes along with that and how it might affect you. And then after that, We're going to bring it to a culmination, a crescendo, and eventually a climax. And it just so happens that you're looking at one of the coldest closers in the game. So without wasting any more time, let's get this thing cracking. So what is the moon? The moon is who we are inside. It's our instinctive awareness. And being the closest celestial body in relation to Earth, it has the strongest effect on our moods and personality on a day-to-day basis. Just like the Earth is 65 to 70% water, your body is 65 to 70% fluid. The moon controls the Earth tides. Well, you live on the Earth, so just think about the effect it has on you. Yeah, it's like that. So when we talk about the sign placement of the moon, this is going to show who we are inside. It also speaks to how the instinctive and imaginative component of our mind operates. It also tells how we express our feelings, and it tells the tale of the most general experiences that we had of our family, and mainly our mama. And I have seen the moon point to the father in some charts, but it really just points to the more nurturing parent, or the lack thereof. All right. But the house placement of the moon, that's going to show how and where we make day-to-day adjustments. It's also going to show the things that we're most interested in dealing with in order to gain an emotional equilibrium in life. Now, the aspects of the moon, and that's definitely what we're talking about here. This is going to show general characteristics of our personality that are emphasized. And any planets in aspect to our moon are going to be symbolic of qualities of our personality that are used instinctively, habitually, and with a higher degree of versatility. And in this case, we talking about Pluto, man. And Pluto's something else. Because Pluto represents the dark underground part of us. It shows our ability to transform the most fundamental properties of our own inner nature. So the sign placement of Pluto is going to show the way the obsessive, compulsive, and committed part of our nature expresses itself. Whereas the house placement of Pluto is going to show the areas of life where we make the most fundamental and the most potent changes. And I know about this because I got Pluto in the first, man. And I ain't never been the same. But the aspects that Pluto make, and that's definitely what we're talking about. This is going to show the deepest, most unconscious links in our personality structure. All right. So when we talk about people that have moon conjunct to Pluto in their natal chart, man, the main thing to understand about the folks with this one is they're either going to be on or they're going to be off, because their emotions guide their life. And those emotions are going to run from extremes that run the gambit from boiling hot to absolutely frigid. And so learning how to deal with those extreme emotions very may well be the key to this life for them, man. Because when it comes to this one, man, emotional satisfaction runs very deep and it's extremely complex due to the immense level of intensity that they're always yearning for in life. Let me tell you, that shit right there can be scary as fuck to deal with, man. And that's probably why they take such pains to keep it under wraps in life, you know? And either way it goes, man, compulsiveness is usually the byproduct. And they usually end up being very easily swayed by their yearnings and desires, because it's like that shit takes over their whole being from the inside out. And best believe, it's that desire to merge with another human being that burns the strongest in them. But I also know that just so happens to be one of their greatest fears as well, which has to be frustrating to them, but it's incredibly interesting to me. And speaking of that, interest, that is, these folks right here are interested in and curious about everything. And I mean everything, because they always feel like there's something there moving below the surface of what's being displayed. And they ain't wrong. Oh no, they ain't wrong. But the thing is, that shit ain't always healthy either. Because when you have that type of emotional feeler where you can always see how fucked up everything can get and how fucked up everybody can be, you have this tendency to start thinking that everything's going to be fucked up and everybody is fucked up. And I have to remind you once again that we can only expect what we project in life. So if we're expecting to be fucked over all the time, that's probably why we're always getting fucked over. And while we're on the subject of projections, I also wanted to understand that a lot of the struggles that come with this conjunction stem directly from projections that these folks' maternal figure projected onto them when they were younger. Because whether it was for better or for worse, these folks right here had an extremely powerful and uncanny psychic connection with their maternal figure or whoever it was that took care of them, that it could be a motherfucker sometimes, man. And with them getting over those fears or feelings that got projected onto them when they were kids is going to be absolutely essential to their growth and development later on in life. Because anytime they find themselves stuck in compulsive patterns of trying to control their emotions by controlling or manipulating other people's feelings, What they really need to do is ask themselves what the fuck it is inside of themselves that they're afraid of, and then deal with that shit. And that'll help out a lot, I promise you. I promise you, man. Then we flip the script and talk about the people that have moon opposite to Pluto. This can be a motherfucker too, man, because these folks right here get so emotionally locked up that it's extremely difficult for them to alter or arrest a pattern once it's begun in their life. And they can suffer a lot from cutting themselves off from people too, because they're the type of person who would end a relationship that they desperately want with somebody they really care about if they feel like that person might fuck them over or abandon them or, leave them later on. And that's bullshit. And it really ain't fair to anybody involved, because the fact of the matter is these folks with this opposition demand a loyalty from other motherfuckers that isn't only unrealistic, but it's also something that they themselves are incapable of giving or unwilling to give. And even deeper than that, I've also seen that these folks right here are capable of forming these compulsive attachments to people where they end up obsessing over and hanging on to a relationship way after the other person has left them emotionally and even physically in a lot of cases too. In either case, what these folks got to do is come to terms with issues of power and control in their life. Because when they can stop being afraid of not being in control by achieving self-control through understanding their own emotions, then their life will get a lot easier. And that's probably going to mean starting by looking at their relationship with their mom or the lack thereof, because that shit had way more of an effect on them than they realized. And then working through that and helping them come into a power, that'll help them get a handle on their emotions, which will also usually end up putting them into a position of leadership or a position of control later on in life. And that's interesting how the two are tied together. And the thing is, that's if, and it's a big if, they can get their emotions under control. Okay. And then when we talk about the folks that have moon trine to Pluto, this is where it gets good. And I know it because I got it. Oh, yes. And it really just boils down to the fact that there's going to be a few significant dreams and a few significant people that greatly impact your emotional outlook and unconscious life habits. And with this one, you just kind of the type of person who makes absolute judgments emotionally and unconsciously as to who will affect you and who won't affect you in this life. And you're always on point. You're always on point because you can just feel it, man. And you just know that if it ain't a blessing, it's going to be a lesson. And that could be a blessing too in its own way. And that's a beautiful thing in itself to behold when you know that inside of yourself, man. And it's also extremely powerful. Best believe, man. And this also points to people like myself who are destined to come before the public at some point in this life, even if it's just for a brief minute, man. And either way it goes, this just gives you a very powerful effect on other people because you really pass along to them the deepest residue of your own life experiences. And they have no choice but to feel it. And this Pluto, so they feel it deep, primordially. And this also tells me, because I don't know if I feel it myself, and that's what I have to say. Because when I look at somebody else's chart, because I feel like I have these attachments, but I don't know. This also tells me that you're the type of person that forms deep emotional attachments that you don't ever falter on in life. Okay? Because if you down with somebody, you down to death. And that's powerful. And I guess I feel like that, but man, I isolate myself so much, man, y'all. Other than my family, it's hard to understand. But a lot of y'all have heard me talking about my ace boon coon or my best friend, and y'all see the regards I hold him in. So maybe that is true for me too. I don't know, man. But with moon square to Pluto, hey, man, this is where it can get powerfully fucked up. Because these motherfuckers right here are just constantly dealing with feelings of judgments and disagreements with other people that leave them feeling paranoid. And it's not the other people. No, it's the native who has the emotional limitations and self-criticisms that's really keeping them from opening up to people. So what they need to do is just realize that all that paranoia and excessive secrecy and attitude is what's really stopping them from getting their emotional needs met in life. And as long as they let those unconscious fears of abandonment control them, then they're probably going to be a danger to themselves, and they're probably going to have some fucked up relationships, or they're probably going to isolate themselves, and it's going to impede them from growing the way that they need to emotionally. So with this square right here, you got to struggle through that and work on that. And then you'll actually be a person who's incredibly adept at knowing what's going on with other people, which will help you be in tune with dealing with their emotions while also having a handle on yours. But first, that square represents a struggle that you're going to have to deal with. All right. And then when we get to the sextile between these two, this is just where we're going to see people whose daily habits get restructured periodically. And then that shit happens. And it's just about them realizing that when that goes on, this is the universe's call for change for them. And if they respond to it, then they're going to be having internal transformations and empowerment and purpose coming into their life. But if they ignore it, it could easily destroy them. It could easily destroy them, man. Just remember that when we're dealing with a sextile, there's always a choice involved. It's not dynamic and automatic like that trine. It's there, but you got to choose to use it. All right. And then lastly, when it comes to people that have moon inconjunct or quincunx to Pluto, hey man, this is just about motherfuckers who confuse intensity with desire and need with love. And as a consequence with that, their relationships with other people can be spicy as fuck, but it really won't engender much closeness or true intimacy. So it's just going to take a lot of time for them to get to know themselves and start recognizing the habits that they have and really start dealing with the shit that's getting in the way of them forming true intimate relationships with people. Because sex ain't love. Sex ain't love. And intensity, that doesn't necessarily represent power. Sometimes the power comes in persistence, patience. Okay? So you got to find out what it is inside of you and, let that be the foundation of growth, and that'll help your relationships even out later on in life. But the fact of the matter is, you don't have to believe a word I just said. Because the truth of the matter is, just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. And what I mean by that is we all have all this energy available to us. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And there's been some priceless knowledge of self. If you made it this far, you should have already hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button, you can do it right now. Or you could hit the dislike button. And that's cool. The world needs hater. Either way it goes, I need some interaction. Drop a comment. Let me know how you feel. YouTube's about interaction. That helps me expand my platform. This is not about ego. It's about algorithm. Okay? The more interaction I get, the more they suggest me to new audiences. And if you ain't trying to hear what I have to say, then help me get out to somebody that can. All right? And if you believe in me, then drop a comment. You know what I'm saying? Give me some interaction. Share this motherfucker. Cause everything you can do, I hear so many people say, oh man, you should have more subscribers, man. So many people should be feeling you. Do your part to get that out there. All I can do is put the work in. Help me spread the message. All right? Either way it goes, I love y'all and I appreciate y'all for everything. If you're interested in any astrological readings whatsoever, do not hit me up in the comments below. Hit me up in my email, which is mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And that's always my preference. And I always respond to emails. If you're interested in getting any merch, do the same thing. But understand, I'll sell you all the merch you want. And you'll probably look good in it. I mean, good. Okay? Ain't that crazy how saying something twice makes it more emphasized? That's bullshit. Oh, this new age, man. My grandmother would be incredibly upset with me if I didn't use the right English, man. But either way it goes, man, just understand that this type of swag I got, it's got to be in you and not on you. So, let me put it in you.